the pain like.
Hey guys, dearyoongi here, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to discuss a topic that isn't exactly new in the K-pop industry, but it is something I wanted to talk about on my channel, and that is K-pop fans and their reluctance to let idols mature or perhaps change their image and grow up. This video is going to consist a lot of my own opinions, using some examples of this I have noticed within the K-pop world, why I think fans do this, and how it can negatively impact idols in the long run. I would love to hear your thoughts on this issue in the comments. Okay, let's get started. In order for us to greater understand, we need to look at some examples. Unfortunately, well, more so unfortunately, we do have some very recent examples to look at. First up, netizens' reaction to BLACKPINK's Lisa appearing at Crazy Horse in Paris. On September 28th, 29th and 30th, BLACKPINK's Lisa headlined 5 performances at a very famous venue in Paris, France, named Crazy Horse. For those who haven't heard of them before, Crazy Horse is a French cabaret, most renowned for its unique stages where female performers are often less than clothed, let's say. Crazy Horse is a very well-respected venue within the industry. In the past, they have had very high-profile guests collaborate with them on costume design, such as Christian Louboutin, and many high-profile celebrities have also guest joined the cast in the same way that Lisa did, such as Pamela Anderson, and Crazy Horse was actually the location in which Beyonce filmed the iconic music video for her song Partition. Being a dancer herself, Lisa is a long-term fan of the venue and their shows, and I'm sure for many dancers such as Lisa, performing somewhere like Crazy Horse is nothing but a dream come true. So of course, she would jump at the chance to join the cast when they offered. Fans, however, were not so pleased with her choice. As we mentioned earlier, the cast of Crazy Horse, also known as Crazy Girls, are often known for their quite provocative routines and costumes. So as soon as fans across the globe heard that Lisa would be partaking in this, the backlash online came rolling in. And I'd like to note that this was before we knew what Lisa herself would be wearing on stage. This discontent was just at the sheer thought of her performing there. The backlash was so extreme that angry netizens began targeting Lisa's mother, calling her a bad mother for letting Lisa do such a thing. Lisa's mum then deactivated her Instagram account. At the time of me making this video, BLACKPINK's Lisa is 26.5 years old and a very talented, seasoned dancer. For Lisa, being offered the opportunity to perform somewhere like Crazy Horse is nothing less than an honor, and she absolutely should be allowed to accept jobs such as this one without fear of persecution from those who are supposed to support her. Now Lisa's appearance at the venue has passed, Crazy Horse have been sharing a few images from Lisa's performances with them, in which yes, she is wearing little clothing, but she is not fully nude in any of them, and these photos have been shared through the official channels where consent has been provided. Some fans were lucky enough to snag tickets to the shows, but filming and audience photography is very strictly prohibited by Crazy Horse in order to protect their performers on stage. So yes, although more often than not they are quite scantily clad, it is done so in a very tasteful and respectful environment. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but cabaret isn't. Therefore, I know this point's getting quite long, but the fact that a grown woman who has been in this industry for quite some time now received so much backlash for literally going to a well-known and respected venue to do a work gig, and that both her and her family have been treated in such a way as a result of it is bonkers to me. What Lisa was doing was simply an extension of her passion, a passion which she has been lucky enough to make a job for her, and I admire that she was able to take these skills that she's been using as an idol and utilize these in another area of the industry. On a similar topic of a K-pop idol receiving some very mixed reactions to their recent work, let's move on to our next recent example, and this is the public's reaction to BTS's Jungkook and his solo music lyrics. As many of us know, the BTS members have now unfortunately one by one started beginning their formal enlistment journeys. Those who have not yet gone have been working on solo projects before they do, one of which is member Jungkook, who has recently released his second solo single titled 3D featuring Jack Harlow, after the success of his first song Seven featuring Leto. Both songs have had sorts of similar messages, having been all in English. Of course, it has been easier for a wider audience to now consume the lyrics and their meaning. Therefore, the reaction from netizens has been all over the place. I'm not sure how much detail I'm allowed to go into on YouTube about the lyrics of Jungkook's solos, but you're more than welcome to look them up when you're done here. They're quite suggestive, with some metaphors and some very on-the-nose lyrics in the explicit version that, to be honest, most people would not bat an eyelid at if they were featured in a Western song, song, but people are mainly shocked to see these coming from a K-pop artist. I will admit Jack Harlow's lines in the song 3D are disgusting, but this has nothing to do with Jungkook himself, so I won't go into too much detail on that. We're mainly talking about the way K-pop fans have been reacting towards Jungkook maturing in this part of the video. I think a lot of the shocked reactions Jungkook has been receiving to his lyrics were mainly due to two things. One, fans who were just shocked to see another side of him, especially when we always were so used to the fact that he was the youngest member of BTS, you know, he's their maknae. And we have watched him grow up from like age 15. But that is precisely the point. He was 15 11 years ago. Like we said for Lisa, I have to point out that Jungkook is currently 26 years old. He just turned 26 in September. So in literally every country on the planet, he is well and truly classified as a grown adult. And secondly, I think a lot of the shock has come from fans who were used to the wholesome side of BTS, that they are now projecting onto Jungkook. So the song's about loving yourself, not more overtly NSFW lyrics. But I do have to just point out that not all BTS songs are sweet and innocent, and some of them do also have lyrics that are a bit less than PG. In response to some of the shocked reactions to his lyrics, Jungkook basically told fans that he is an adult now, and he knows everything he needs to know. And he shouldn't have to do all that. The fact he had to literally spell out for people that he is a grown man who knows what every other grown man does make me cringe a little bit, but unfortunately that is the environment he is in as a K-pop idol. I hate this idea some people are trying to throw out there that Jungkook himself has changed. Jungkook did not write either Seven or 3D, but artists such as Jungkook are held to an impossibly unrealistic standard where no matter how old he is still expected to act innocent wherever possible. And while that might be how things are done in the K-pop world, he is now making music for the West, and therefore the vibe and lyrics of songs have also sort of been adjusted accordingly, not him as a person or his values. Plus, who says that this change is a bad thing? Jungkook being older now and wanting to sing about more mature concepts should not be perceived as something negative. It doesn't make him a bad person, and the things he is singing about aren't necessarily bad things, they're quite natural things that we have all either experienced or come across as adults. So we've discussed two examples of K-pop stans being unwilling to accept an artist is growing up now, but let's also look at a bit of a more generic way in which I've seen fans not allow artists that space to mature, and that is through negative reactions to concept changes. For K-pop artists, their concept and image is everything. It's what separates them from other groups in the industry, it's what mainly attracts their fan base, and whenever a group comes back, they always try to stay somewhat within the realms of their current concept to keep fans happy. Therefore, when a company decides to do a complete 180-degree turn with the group's concept, fans aren't always the most accepting of this and will make their grievances known. There have been some examples, see I've got examples again, where groups have changed their concept and most fans have accepted this. Of course, there'll always be some who are unhappy, but that's neither here nor there. But when these changes do come, it's usually later on in their careers, more so rather than in the earlier years. For example, BLACKPINK and Twice have also adjusted their concepts a little bit over the years. But what happens when fans really don't like what they see? There are two examples in particular that spring to mind for me, and the most distaste in response that I can think of to a new comeback. First off with Weeekly. If you can cast your minds back to the year 2021, girl group Weeekly had just come back with their song After School, and it was loved by fans and even casual listeners everywhere. I think at this stage in their career as a group, it was pretty clear what their concept was, and they'd solidified this sort of youthful teenage concept, with a few of their comeback music videos being based around like schools and like young girls hanging out and having fun. Their concept was very playful. Following the success of After School, fans were very excited to see what they'd do next, and then they followed that song up with a similar style with Holiday Party, thus helping them build their fandom even further. Things only seemed to be on the up for Weeekly until they dropped their next comeback song, Then Para, in March 2022. This was pretty much the polar opposite of their previous playful image and was a bit darker and the girls trying to portray a more powerful image. Unfortunately, a lot of fans did not take well to this at all because it was not what the group were known for or what had initially drawn them to the girls. Many thought their previous concept was a lot more unique in K-pop in a world full of girl crush concepts, and now their new sound was nothing they hadn't seen before. Some fans actually genuinely just thought the song quality was a huge drop compared to their previous releases, which I disagreed with personally, but I digress. In my unpopular opinion, Weeekly's new sound and image suited them, and I have spoken about this multiple times in previous videos, but I thought it was a good time for the girls to show their versatility while they had some public attention buzzing around them. However, at the same time, I can understand the point of view of fans thinking this mix-up was all too sudden. But the reason I include this example in this video is because although the new sound they weren't going for was necessarily provocative, there was a definite clear difference from the youthful youthful music they were providing us with, and now this more older, maturer sound, which fans unfortunately were quite reluctant to see. The other group that springs to mind when we discuss concept changes that were not widely accepted is NCT Dream. I think NCT Dream probably had the most youthful and playful image of all the NCT subunit offerings in their earlier days. There was no denying that. Because they were mostly the younger members of NCT, their comebacks had quite like a cutesy concept in places. They were very bright, colourful, and all around very sweet, especially when they were still teenagers. However, teenagers of course cannot stay young forever, and the members were 18 plus when their concept began to change a little bit. Unlike Weeekly, who we've already discussed had a concept change that seemed more sudden, NCT Dream played around a little bit and experimented with a bit of a concept change at first, but it was nothing too drastic in my opinion, just them showing another side of themselves. It was when the group came back with their song Hot Sauce, which was packed full of metaphors, and I'm sure you can get the gist from even just the title what they were. But again, like Jungkook's lyrics were mentioned earlier, you're welcome to Google them. This was when fans' reactions were not impressed. Fans seemed very shocked by this song, I think more so just because it was unexpected that NCT would release a song like this under the subunit Dream, and unfortunately because of that, a lot of fans did not have positive reactions to the song or the group's seemingly new image. They didn't like how it made the members come across, but it's important to note the NCT Dream members' ages at the time of this song coming out, 19 being the youngest, so all of them were of adult age. So fans' shock should have been more directed at seeing such a concept from a group who they were so used to seeing having a youthful concept, which would be more understandable, rather than the guys who really won't have had much say in the concept. Moving on, we do have to discuss why it could be that fans possibly do react negatively when an idol appears to, quote unquote, change their image and maybe start acting a bit more grown up and mature. So this is pretty much just going to be my opinion on the matter, of course. This isn't something that I can exactly quantify with examples and evidence. But for me personally, I think one of the main reasons can simply boil back to the idea that people inherently don't like change or anything unfamiliar. K-pop fans can often become quite attached to the image and personas that an idol has, especially during their younger years, and especially if this image is one that reminds them of when they started stanning the group. So any deviation from that image is likely to cause some sort of mixed reactions. Some people might be so into their faves they're willing to accept any new changes with open arms because they get the vision, or on the complete opposite end of that spectrum, some fans may feel so nostalgic for the earlier days or older image that any changes in this image making them more mature or grown up can feel like they're losing sight of what they used to love. I do also have another theory why fans can be so unwilling to see artists take on a more mature image as they get older, which admittedly may be more of a reach, but it is something worth considering, and that all comes down to relatability. During their earlier years, K-pop idols often portray an innocence and youthfulness that a lot of younger fans can relate to and find endearing in a way, but as idols grow and mature, they may want to embrace a more mature image, which is absolutely fine and they are entitled to do so, but that can be challenging for some fans to connect with as much as they used to. That's where comments like the one Jungkook has been receiving saying he's changed come from, because he is changing, he is growing up, and that's great for him, but shifts such as these can make fans feel like they've lost that relatable, innocent connection they had initially. We've looked at some examples of fans not liking idols growing up and why, but I think it would also be important to address the impact that this sort of backlash from fans can have on idols who are just trying to live their lives. A lot of K-pop idols start training at a very young age and debut when they are still quite young. Imagine being in the spotlight from a young age and then you naturally grow up and evolve. Fans are reluctant to let go of your earlier image, one that you have lived with for so long and just want to break from. It can feel quite restricting, I imagine, for idols. For us, we're afraid to let go of the past and we're clinging on to something that isn't there anymore. But for them, this isn't just music, this is their lives, and they may feel like they're stuck in like a never-ending cycle, unable to explore new aspects of their artistry and even personal growth through fear of upsetting fans and sort of alienating them. It's sad in a way because we could unknowingly be hindering an idol's personal development by not allowing them the opportunity to explore other aspects of their identity. The pressure to maintain a certain image can be stifling, not just with who they are as people outside of the idol life, but it can also affect their creativity and expression. If idols such as Lisa, for example, aren't allowed to explore other aspects of their dance life that they love, then they could just potentially be missing out on an opportunity to do something wonderful or realize something about themselves that they never even knew. One of the most fun things we all get to do as we grow up is step outside of what we know as our norm and comfort zone, and that is often where we learn the most about ourselves and our abilities. Just because they are K-pop idols does not mean that they should not be allowed the same privilege. I could honestly go on for days about the effects of not letting idols be who they want to be. The main objective of me making this video was to raise awareness to some examples of this for those who might not realize how much of a problem we seem to have within the K-pop world of fans not letting idols experiment with different images. So let's quickly wrap things up here with a little bit of a conclusion. It's essential for us as fans to, of course, want the best for our idols, but also realize that they are human too. And like the rest of us, it is human nature to change, mature, and want to try new things. All we can and should really be doing at the end of the day is supporting our idols on the journey they are on as they try to navigate the delicate balance between their public persona and personal development, trusting that they will make whatever decisions are right for them, something that can be unbelievably difficult when you're living your life in the public eye. If we give them the freedom to grow and evolve both as artists and individuals, who knows what they could go on to achieve that they might not even know they themselves are capable of. Okay guys, that was it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching if you got this far. It is a little bit longer than I intended, I'm sorry. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments on this topic, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here and haven't yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the notification bell. That should let you be the first to hear whenever I upload, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!